kids, how are you doing? Well, today is January 1st, New Year's Day. Yay, let's start this year off awesome, shall we? I was thinking about Herod, King Herod, and how he allowed John the Baptist, the, the man, the prophet, the man that he knew was holy and a righteous man, he allowed his head to be cut off and put on a platter. And all because of political pressure. Do you guys know that story? Oh, wow. That story is actually you can read it in Mark chapter 6, verse 20, but Herod, he liked listening to John the Baptist. He liked to hear him speak and everything. But, Herod's wife did not like John because he said that Herod's and his wife's marriage was not permitted by the law of God because it's his brother's wife, that he married. And so the wifey over here did not like John, wanted him gone. And so when her daughter danced for his friends, his political public so-called friends, well, he granted her one wish. And the mother told the daughter to have John's head cut off, have him beheaded, and put on a platter. People. I do not believe that Herod would have had his head put on a platter, beheaded like that, if he had not felt like he was under pressure. No matter what kind of pressure that we're under, we should always take the righteous path, no matter what, no matter how people will look at you. He could have said, look, you can have any wish, but you can't have that one. He could have. He was a king. He could have, made this amazing reason as to why John can't be beheaded at that time. But at the same time, I'm like, well, it was fate, though. I mean, it was going to happen, and it was time to happen. Anyway, it just goes to show, though, that no matter, someone likes to listen to you, and they even like you, like things about you or whatever it may be, it doesn't mean they won't betray you. So, yeah. Anyway, let's pull a card pull for the world. Let's start with our Bible wisdom cards, okay? Guard your heart by holding every thought captive. By doing so, you keep your heart clean. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Yeah, there are a couple different ways that we can actually look at that verse. Well, first off, if that someone can just hurt your heart and cause it to grow cold and hard, well, obviously, we shouldn't be spending time or allowing that individual into our personal life, right? Because we know that they could betray us, and it's betrayals from people that cause their hearts to grow cold, that it can cause an individual to become selfish, and just not want to give to people anymore. There was this one man that I had ran into, and he was, telling me that he was going to donate all this money that he had to a shelter for animals. And I asked him, why not humans? And he said, he laughed. He laughed and he said, humans? He said, humans are evil and they aren't loyal. I was like, wow. And it is true though. If you don't have a pure heart, which I find a great majority just don't, okay? If you don't have a pure heart, well, you're going to set out to harm other people, or you're not going to care if you do, or if you're put in a position to harm them, you will. A pure heart is what God asks of us, and a pure heart is not someone that will intentionally set out to harm another individual. So, so that's one way that we can look at this. And, you also, to another way that we guard our hearts, okay, is by not allowing darkness to enter into it, because we know first it comes into the mind, the thought, and then the thought, it is turned into action. And there's that Bible verse, it says, out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. So this is why it's very important that we do guard our hearts. If we guard our hearts, then we're going to hold our words and our actions captive. Otherwise, it can taint it. Yes. Well, we know Herod's heart was tainted. There was not any righteousness there, right? As much as he liked John. So this is a very important message, a very important reminder for all of us, okay? Even if you aren't, a biblical person, it's still important information to remember, okay? Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. That's another thing we need to remember. And remember, love is the answer. And he taught that his will is to live in the way of love. That verse is in Matthew chapter 7, verse 21. And then we have this one, John chapter 4, verse 48. Unless you people see signs and wonders, Jesus told them, you will never believe. Oh, yeah, I'm still to this day, even though I didn't exist back then, but through my days of seeking the Lord and being a Christian and what that means, I have came across many, many people that are like, well, prove it. I don't know if I really believe that Jesus existed or God existed because I can't see them, and I would need a sign. Well, what? You need spiritual gifts. What kind of spiritual gifts? I have spiritual gifts. What kind of spiritual gift are you looking for? But even then, I feel like a lot of people don't believe, and it was proven because that's how it was way back when. There were people that were like, wow, they needed the signs and wonders, and then they did believe, but there were many that saw that still did not. Interesting, right? Yeah. So we're just being called to remember these words here. Sanctuary, yeah, we can look at sanctuary two different ways. We have, a holy sanctuary within our own body, because our bodies are seen as a temple. It is a sanctuary. So sometimes, we just need to be alone and be within our own selves and just allow ourselves to just connect with the Most High God in order to be in His will and stay in His will. Yeah. I feel like that's the message he's trying to say here. concerning sanctuary, even though, sanctuaries can be like actual outer buildings that we can go to. Some people like to go to the church or to the temple, and they find it as like a sanctuary for them, or out in nature even. But wherever you can connect with the Most High God, but just remember, what He is pointing out here really is the sanctuary within our own selves that He is to dwell, and to embrace that and remember that. Okay. Yeah. Protection. He will protect us. Okay. As we seek Him out, as we learn Him, as we obey Him, as we're seeking Him out, as we learn, we will then become successful. The star. Oh. Okay. Ooh. Yes, it brings about happy surprises. And it can even bring about not just any happy surprise. The Lord is making a point here that He can bring about miracles in your life. And you know how I know that is because this is literally a unicorn. Whoa, magical, from out of this world, because it's coming from the heavens. Okay. What else messages the Lord our God have to say to us today? Your amazing God. Whenever I get new cards, sometimes it's hard to shuffle them because, I don't just have cards I've created. I have, cards that other people have created too, because, I help my fellow man. If you'd like to help yours, you can get on my website, melodieslight.com, and you can buy my decks. Okay, empathy. Yes, people, please have empathy. Please. You feel and understand the emotions of another in the service of love. Yeah, well, we all share the same emotions. I was talking to my acupuncturist today, and he was saying, he's like, we have 5 emotions. Well, anyway, he was just giving me all this knowledge, and I couldn't even leave the office. I'm just standing there, and I'm just like listening to him for like a half hour, and then finally I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta go. But anyway, he had all this great knowledge, but I wish him and I had gotten more into emotions, because I wanted to hear what he had to say about what the 5 emotions are. Well, anyway, yeah, our emotions, we share the same emotions. I mean, we're all human here. So because we know what emotions are and how they feel, we need to have empathy. Empathy. No hard hearts. No hard hearts. If you allow yourself to have a hard heart, you're not guarding your heart, because you've allowed it to grow cold and hard. The Lord calls it stubborn heart, a cold heart, okay? Yeah, not happening. Priorities. You understand the paramount importance of manifesting love in all situations. Well, love is to always be a priority. Always a priority. Put it on your list as number 1, because love is the fulfillment of the law, because it's written that God is love. I mean, you can't argue with that. Like, everybody wants love. Everybody wants to be loved. So give it then. Just give it. Just give it. Give it. I don't know where that Michael Jackson song came from. Oh my gosh. Old news, huh? Yes. We need to remember that we are naked before God. We may be down here dressed, fully clothed, but to God, to His eyes, we are naked to Him. He will see the truth. We can't hide. Yeah, we're just naked before Him. We are nude. Okay. Yes. All right, so here he's talking about spirituality because we've got the third chakra that came out. I don't know, to me that's the third eye. Maybe it isn't to other people. You know, I have a book that I'm going to read on that anyway, but learn more about that. But yeah, so yeah, he's just pointing out that, you know, we need to make sure that we are connecting to the Most High God through our spirituality. Well, our pineal gland here, it's here, but it's towards the more towards the back of the head. If you did not know that, in the skull, but it is a way that we connect spiritually, whether you realize it or not. And people, and I've said this before on here if you've been following me, but a lot of people are like, oh, just have some apple cider vinegar every day and it will clear your pineal gland. No, all you have to do is just get close to God, and there you go. Okay, you're connected. Yes. There's someone messaging me, but it's not important. They will have to wait. All right, let's see. What else? What other messages is he wanting to give us? What signs really need to hear this right now? How about that? What do we really... Oh, okay. I've got Pluto that came out. Now, Pluto is the planet. Pluto is the furthest planet in the universe. If you did not know that, yes, it is. That's why it's very, very tiny and very, very far away. Pluto brings out what's hidden. So that's why the Lord is saying here, we are literally naked before his eyes, and he's watching us. He's watching how we treat people in our words and in our actions. And remember too, in a book I was just reading, it actually just reminded me of this, and I mean, this is a great opportunity to bring it up, but it's actually called The Four Elements. And well, it's one of the Four Elements books. It's the one on love. And he was just reminding that every time that we do something for someone in need, whether we clothe them, feed them, give them something to drink, we're doing it for the Lord. We're doing it to him. We are feeding him, giving him something to drink, clothing him, giving him warmth with a blanket, whatever it may be. And so he's reminding us of that. And so he's saying, well, with Pluto here, he knows, okay, you can't hide. Pluto tries to hide. It's like so secretive, and it just wants to be away from everybody. Which I find a lot of people do, just because the world, like, a lot of people are just straight up freaking mean, right? But yeah, I can relate at times. But yeah, so we are being called here to not do anything that we have to hide. Don't want to have to hide it. Yeah, just be good. Be of love and be of service to people as they need it. You see an elderly person that needs some help, they need the door open the door. Open the door. All right, so maybe there's a Taurus around that really needs to be reminded of this message. Anyways, that's one of our zodiac signs. I decided to put zodiac signs in here. Why not? Why not? Oh, it's time to grow. Okay, yeah, it is. It's time to grow. Okay, it's time to grow in the understanding of love, and understanding that the Lord's eyes are on us at all times. I mean, it's like it's like someone that has bodyguards all around their house and cameras and, like, you know, those owners, they know what's going on. They can see, right? And the angels, you know, they're writing down everything. Yeah, so our message here is to allow ourselves to grow and also to be rational. Because this will bring us as individuals progress. Yeah. We're being called here to use balance, to balance our daily lives, and have a great passion for it too. Have a great passion for love and what it means, and seeking it out. Have great passion and be dedicated to it. Yeah. That's what he wants you to be dedicated to. Okay, let's pull a community chest card. Because like I've said, you know, this is life, just like the game, and, you know, we do have Monopoly in the game of life, too. So, yeah. Voila. Okay. You buy a few bags of cookies from that school bake sale. Yum. But, well, now you gotta pay $50, but that's okay. You know, sometimes when we do, you know, sometimes when we're gonna do like an event, well, we have to put money into it, and that's okay. You know, that's okay. It's good, you know, because it's for a good cause. Spirit communication and paying attention. I have the number 11 here. 11 is going to represent your friends. So, we need to make sure that we're paying attention to our daily lives, paying attention to the way that we are treating our friends. This is really pointing out friends right here. That's quite interesting. And making sure that we're staying connected to what love is. There you have it. This beautiful layout of love on my table. All right, guys. Well, you know I will be back in a time, and you do know this, right? All right. I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now.
Mirror cracked the sea.